The method in establishing an answer to a story reaches a plot and a ploy. It governs the identity of the believer as a human being who nurtures the path to give forms of clarification to a puzzle to each livelihood, giving the form to a reaching hand where it needs to place the touch with the feeling given with each story. A thought projects the form to allow the mind to nurture each picture of how it starts, to give a clue of how it ends. Each story uses a method that attracts the attention of those who receive the visual and the tone that shadows each word that has been transcribed in any book or conversation. Each word that governs the meaning is pieced elaborately because of how it's perceived. The story begins with each beginning confirming the details of how each makes a fact, following the summarization. With it, given our conclusion. The ideas that have been read was a form the reasons how to get to the next story with a depicted picture. Again, following the next until the story of the book ends. I read stories differently from most. In addition, I listened to slurs in speech, realized that it answered how it should differentiate from how my family follows an order. As a young woman who has presumed that a basic life is what is lived, reading a book in such order confirms how we are different, how our world sits together with yours. Many words were said, imagined pictures of how I have read the meaning of the word, was verbalized in the language taught during my childhood, words that depict an illustration of the main story to follow the thought till the end of a subject. By reading the words in order, it also illustrates foreign languages, and I read them naturally by jumbling the words in a manner. My dialect, which is foreign to most others, is common, because I asked for the purity of my soul. The words can give clarity to the deepest thoughts of how and who I care for and love for, the truth. I can read and hear the story of how it affects me and my family in this world by having the words jumbled. I can answer the story of before and now. The order of the words and how I read is a language that is commonly spoken by many. Stories told by scrambling the words are read from the beginning to the end. The secret of jumbling the words brings out the deepest thoughts and unanswered stories of the speaker. Your soul, the one confirming order and clarity, can put together a story of how it's relatable to today and before. It can change the story or retell the story of what was written. Opens and shadows the deepest notion, the idea, the reflection that gives character to the main plot. Differently each word is read, following the sentences to finish a paragraph. Can be exact. It can be the thought of what was discussed and thought about, or what was dreamt. An order that I have learned to follow, given clarification of the circumstances that allow for negativity, confirms a positive portrayal of the governed dialect that I was taught. I have learned to speak in a manner of answering from my heart. From the slur of my sound, the truth is taken by many as a threat. An example of the balance with what towers showing negativity towards me and my family. An example that pertains to shows an opposite response. I give a response opposite to one's statement, character, and belief, as the slur of truth gives a picture of their conscience, from changing the order of words throughout a storyline to show proof and one's character spoken as a slur in my language. Give to me words that have been said to cleanse the soul, as the shepherds have given the time and knowledge of failure and warmth of family. Truth has many ways to give the reason how. Each step that reaches the start has professed the world to reach salvation as this exists before and now. Knowledge and power of how the world existed on earth and in heaven has given its boundaries as each hand came to ask for the realization, as each step of mankind enables. Jesus, God, Lord and Holy Spirit. It can't be summed up to relate to how one understands the reason for how each of us is the sacrifice to keep us contained to live in the power of our Creator. With each meaning that has been written confirms our life and the life lived. Questions haven't been key. It is the reason why reasons are given for the clarification of what is not understood, gave the light that shined on many, as the culture of what basis reached for a difference of how neglect was key to their sanctuary. Time has made the fact that it began even from what dates back. The seed, as we grew, fell from the tree that gave root to the structure of how life is sustained. Time valued, gives light to many, has made the fact of what light created, just the image confirming the creation, reaching the truth, guiding many, giving lives to reason for the cause of our mold, repeating as the sanctuary asks for the salvation that confirmed how we have been the many reasons that showed the world we live in.